drop that, won't stop, won't stop.
5 games remain in the MLS Next Pro regular season. The push for the playoffs continue with 2 squads looking to make a run at the end. LAFC 2 look to get into the top 4 for a potential home playoff game. Sporting SKC 2 are on the cusp of the playoff picture. They look to make it in as the MLS Next Pro is at Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee, so happy to be with you this afternoon. And we mentioned that things are starting to tighten up because the number of games are so few in the remainder of the season and how the standings shake out. Both things are really looking for a lot of important things because there's a lot of long-term implications, not just in terms of today's game, but in terms of how the postseason picture can shake out. As we take a look at our Western Conference standings, we take a look how there's only 2 teams who are currently clinched, that's North Texas and St. Louis. LAFC 2 are currently sitting in 5th place, but 3 teams are tied with 39 points, Tacoma, Town, and LAFC. LAFC looking to get into the top 4, so they have an opportunity to get a home playoff game. SKC 2, they're a singular point behind Houston Dynamo 2 for a chance at the 8th and final playoff spot in the West. SKC want to get in, while LAFC 2 want to have an opportunity to host at Titan Stadium, where our venue is going to be for this afternoon's affair. The starting 11 for Junior Gonzalez, not many changes going on. There's going to be 4 in large part due to some of the call-ups with LAFC's game in Houston yesterday. They're missing their leading goal scorer in Wabowo and their minutes leader in Diego Rosales, both of them in Houston last night with the first team. You've got Charlie Rosenthal, who is up top with Mueller and Sullivan. He'll make his 5th start in MLS Next Pro. And the midfielder trio of Aguilar, Wanchope, and Moyado, keep an eye on them because they have a combined 4 starts in this 2024 season. Aguilar making his first starts in 2024 in his MLS Next Pro debut season. And then we take a look at Sporting Kansas City 2. They've got a pair of changes in large part because they're just trying to tinker around with some things, especially with an opportunity to make the playoffs. Ryan Shayway makes his 14th start of the 2024 season. He's 5-4-4 when they have 36 between the pipes. Donovan got an assist versus Vancouver. He makes his way into the starting 11. And Malun Gumbale, he centers Avila and Cruz up top. He is back in. He has started 11 of his last 12. Appearance number 23 in 2024. As we make our way towards center pitch at Titan Stadium, Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew welcomes you to Fullerton. And if the pitch, the way it looks, says a lot, well, I'm about to say something a little more staggering. It's a 103 degrees Fahrenheit at the pitch right now, 40 degrees centigrade for anyone else worldwide. And it's going to be something that's really going to possibly play into the long-term future of these 2 sides, especially considering who is on deck for the remainder of the MLS Next Pro standings. We talked about how home pitch advantage is on the line for LAFC 2 because they currently sit at 5th. Imagine having to go to Southern California in late October. That's going to be very different than some of the other teams who are currently up above, with North Texas on the way. We saw Tacoma was amongst those in the standings. Having to go to a place like, hypothetically, Tacoma up in Washington State versus having to go to Southern California in the middle to late September is going to be very different. And considering some of the teams that both these sides are facing going forward, they're going to have to be called upon for some of those major implications going down the line. With Sporting Kansas City, they have a task in mind. They know they have 1 point to make up on Portland and on Houston, who are both sitting at 32 points apiece. Austin, they are kicking off right now. They also have a 1-point advantage on SKC today. But if SKC can tally off back-to-back wins, which is something they have not been able to do in regulation since early April, they're going to be very much in a very pretty position going into the final 4 games. LAFC, they took their 1 loss versus Tacoma. That snapped a 4-game unbeaten streak. If you count the PK loss to Vancouver Whitecaps a couple weeks ago, that puts them technically at losses in back-to-back. So both these 2 sides, they want to continue streaking on because there's 5 games left in the regular season, and after today, we'll be down to 4. Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California. Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, we welcome you here to a 104-degree day here at Titan Stadium. You mentioned some of the runs that these two sides are on, accumulating a 10-7-6 record. Our LAFC, they sit at 5th in the Western Conference, and they wanted the opportunity to have a home playoff game here in Fullerton. We talked about some of the conditions earlier, and when you look at teams above them, with Tacoma within the mix, you've also got VCFC Ventura County as well. You want to be able to not only get that home playoff game for yourself, but also the opportunity to take down some of those other teams, especially those other California teams in town in Ventura County. But LAFC will have to defend right out of the gate because FKC2 have it in their possession with the attempted feed into center by Alexandre, but all for naught because we're offside. First touch being made here by David Ochoa from the LAFC net. He has started in 15 games so far in this 2024 season. 6-5-4 is his record when he takes the net. His team continues to go upward. Quick chip goes up ahead. Now it's an opportunity run here for Mueller. Mueller has a man on him, but waits. Mueller, left-footed shot, off the post and out. A nice first chance there by Luis Mueller, but it's back for LAFC. Service into the area, headed down, too shy for the intended target, Nicholas Sullivan. Still up top for Mueller, gets blocked off by SKC. Turn over the other way for Beto Avila, who wants to provide something on the counter-attack, not before he gets poked out of play. That first opportunity there by Luis Mueller, just skimmed past, had his man beat Ian James on the defense, but it just went far post and out. Mueller has been someone who has been a staple for Junior Gonzalez, second on the team in goals, has 4 in the last 3. Has 4 in 3 matches, that was in the beginning of August. Did not get one behind the net versus Tacoma or against Vancouver. But he wanted to go for it there, but iron was all that was in the way. Quick scrap on the near sideline before it gets whistled down off of the scrap by Malum Gumbale. And Sporting KC2 cycle it around. A quick opportunity, the attempted feed, but the only one there on the reception is David Ochoa. Almost stumbled there off of a potential bobble, but eventually gets it away. A 2-1 loss for LAFC over Tacoma Defiance. Was the first loss in 4 consecutive games unbeaten for LAFC2. 2 wins to start off August. And the 2 prior to their loss to Tacoma was a pair of games that had to go to PKs. And with LAFC 2, they have not had many streaks at all at any point of the season with back-to-back draws. They did have one to start off in June, but that was only a 2-game losing stretch. Every other circumstance, it was either followed up by a win or followed up by a chance to take the singular point off of penalties. But now SKC2 off the turnover, having opportunities, it's split out wide. It's recepted there by Alexandre, who centers. Held off, split wide, fed into the area, one-on-one, gets headed out. Eddie Berumen gets the head out, but it's kept alive by Beto Avila. Scrap in the box, turnover, starter steps, but a little too aggressive on the attack where Sporting KC, they'll get the whistle against them. A huge turnaround here, year to year for Junior Gonzalez. After starting off his coaching tenure with LAFC 2 this season in 2024, having to make up for a season last year where LAFC 2 were dead last in the West. 25 points, 5-17 and 6 in 2023 were LAFC. They're in much greater fortunes ever since Junior Gonzalez took over, and his side's on the attack now. cut off, however, before it could go through with Chris Rendove in the way, but it's a bobbler. James on the chase. Prevents the corner on the clear. They'll get a throw in anyways. Oh no, they said that did not get saved by James, so it's actually gonna come off for an LAFC corner. Delayed whistle, and the beneficiaries are LAFC. First corner of the match. In swinger to come. Headed up. Bounce pass, out of play. Goal kick, first touch for Ryan Shayway. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, the official bank of LAFC. Held on, Beto Avila tries to center. Now an opportunity off of a flub. 1v1 it goes. Gumbale shoots, and that goes off a leg in front. Way to recover from DeCarlo Guerra after the missed assignment. Was able to get back in position, prevent anything from going further from Malun Gumbale, who was all alone, and you can see Guerra having to chase all the way back because he blew the assignment on Gumbale, made up for it. And now we have a corner kick for SKC, their first. It's a hot day here in Fullerton, California. 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius. Quick chip into the box, nothing but black. And it comes back towards the center pitch area with Alexandre in the retreat. SKC in pursuit, wanted to feed that one in the area, cut off, but still alive. Not for long, this will easily bounce its way towards Ochoa. Mueller. He was looking all the way through. He knew he had a target, but it was just out of reach. It appeared to be Rosenthal. Both coaches know that because there are so few games remaining in the regular season, that these playoff points are going to come, and they're going to be probably some of the hardest points that they will have to acquire all season. That pretty much not only in this game, but the entire way through, that execution is going to have to be pristine the entire way through, because if not, it could result in maybe not necessarily worst case scenario. With SKC, it's worst case scenario, and LAFC, they just want to continue climbing and stay within the hunt. SKC 2, a singular point behind Houston Dynamo 2, who currently have that 8th and final playoff seed. LAFC, they're 7 points clear of Houston, but they are tied with the 4th most points in the Eastern Conference, with Tacoma Defiance, Town FC also sitting at 39 points. So that, in essence, could be a 3-way race, 4-way race if you include Ventura County, who are only 1 point ahead. That could be a 4-way race for the final 2 home games in that opening round. The St. Louis and North Texas already punching their ticket to the postseason. SKC 2 now with Beto Avila out wide. Avila cuts in. It's tangled down, and that will be a foul against LAFC. Beto Avila draws the whistle. Saw that nice little split out for Avila. He wanted to split the 2 defensemen with a couple of guys in front, with Eddie Baruman, who was amongst the pair who was double teaming Avila, but it draws a whistle, and the first set piece was Sebastian Cruz, ready to send this one along. Cruz, back post. Too tall for anyone to claim it. That was Ian James on that back post. Couldn't slam it in, so it's going to be an Ochoa goal kick. He goes quick. First 11 minutes into the match, and now we already have a free runner. Cross attempted before it's cut off. Sullivan was by himself, but the roadblock was created there with Donnie Flores amongst the blue jerseys in the vicinity. And especially for SKC2 and Benny Feilhaber's side, he has really made a point of emphasis that, especially with the games required, these games and these W's are going to have to come on the road. And if we sneak in, it requires winning in pivotal moments like today, where there's 5 games left to go, a single point out of it. Quick slide up inside. Mueller towards center. No one able to claim it. Bobbles back and forth. SKC up, not out. Moyato. He's got a man that goes in front. That's headed away. Cristiano was there. Second chance goes, but missed the net. Goal kick for Ryan Sheway. First couple shot attempts there by SKC2. A nice deflection there from Leo Cristiano, and then the follow-up there off of the half volley was attempted by Matthias Wanshop. And Sheway will just let the defenders in front of him carry this along. Avila wants to slice it through for Alexandre. Ochoa comes out of his net with Alexandre harassing him, and he does enough to earn the SKC throw into Avila. Back into the area, cut off, still alive for SKC. Leo Cristiano, Alexandre. Alexandre decides to elevate, but that one is only hits a roadblock, and the second chance goes, but that one goes wide as well. That was maybe the first true opportunity for SKC2 to attempt the net, just couldn't hit. Expect a couple potential stoppages considering the high temps, with some hydration breaks coming along. As the back heel goes for LAFC, they continue to charge up ahead. Wiggle pass for Wanshop. And a chance was attempted for Mueller. 1v1, Sheway has to come out. Nick Sullivan was by himself, and had Sullivan got there first, Sheway was in an awkward position. We take another look here, that attempt goes and just flew past Mueller, and Sheway made the executive decision to bring the hands out instead of allowing Sullivan a touch. Bobble back and forth, hits the end line. Goal kick for Sheway once more. SKC2, they have not necessarily had the same success as they did last year, considering how they were a third-place team in the Western Conference in 2023. Where they eventually lost to the MLS Next Pro champions Austin, Texas last year. Both Austin and SKC currently out of it, both tied at 31. Amongst that cluster of teams, 4 of them within a point, 1 playoff spot available. SKC2, they go quick. Attempt to go, Habibullah cuts inside, gets tangled down. No whistle, called and cleared by LA. The attempt was made there by Cameron Habibullah, but he just had a barrage of black jerseys in the way. And now it's on the reception for Shane Donovan. Alexandre. Top it goes Flores. SKC2, they're trying anything they can, but nothing but black as roadblocks. But now Sebastian Cruz holds on. We just passed the 15-minute mark. Into the area, bounced down. Gumbale couldn't control and eventually cleared off of the foot that time. It was Christian Diaz, but it's already back in SKC possession. SKC2 recover it after Sullivan bobbled it. Habibullah awaits his numbers, Danny Flores. Talked about the playoff scenarios that are in play for this game, and it's all about getting it done when it matters the most. Handball against LAFC. And SKC2, they know that the key to getting into the playoff hunt is getting it done when it matters, getting the wins now. And I think it was put best by SKC2 head coach Benny Feilhaber, who said, if we don't execute our job, we shouldn't be in anyways. Especially with the tight playoff race. It's all about who's the hottest at the very end. Magi Alexandre to take after the stoppage. And SKC, they're very happy with just possessing the ball right now. They've done so for about the first 17 minutes of play at about a 63% rate. Way to cut it off, but not before SKC have it back. Habibullah up top. Habibullah hits a body and out. Corner kick for SKC. Nice block in front by DeCarlo Guerra. As we saw Habibullah up top, just let that one fly, and Christian Diaz got the body in the way, just turned around at the very end to prevent anything else from coming through. But it does provide SKC their second corner of the match. Outswinger ball up in the air, and that one just barely missed the net. Chris Rendove was amongst the blue jerseys at the 6, but no one could convert.
Fans, your attention, please.
Outswinger there, it was the outside for Chris Rendove to come in, and now we will take a quick timeout for a hydration break. 103 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 Celsius. Here at Fullerton, California. No score to speak of for either side. And SKC2 have had the first 18.5-ish minutes of play with about 2/3 of the possession thus far, but LAFC have had more of the shots, 3-2. Neither of them have gotten one on frame. So David Ochoa and Ryan Shaway, neither of them have really had a chance to be tested yet. So we take a look at the SKC bench. They lead this head-to-head season series, winning both of the 2 matches, including the last one that was played back on June of 2023 with a 2-0 win for SKC2 here in Fullerton. And these two will play one more time. However, that one will be back in Kansas City at Children's Mercy Park for the regular season finale for both Sporting and for LA. Imagine if we're still in a similar position like we are now, where maybe by that point one of the 2 teams will have clinched, or maybe a team might be just barely on the outside looking in. Imagine the drama that could provide, especially on a riveting Sunday the 6th, where so many decisions can be made about the postseason. It's just kind of that time of the year with the summer soccer schedule. All of the leagues are winding down the regular season, even including the MLS side of things, where LAFC 2 have had themselves a very enthusiastic and exciting season, to say the least, for the MLS side, and we could potentially see these two square off in a different context, just shy of that regular season finale, with the US Open Cup coming at the end of the month between Sporting Kansas City and LAFC on the MLS side of things. LAFC without their leading goal scorer in Adrian Wibowo. He made the trip to Houston last night with the A squad, did not play, but when you're losing a guy like the 18-year-old Wibowo, who is leading your team in both goals and assists, that's gonna be a hard gap to make up. But they wanted to try to shoot the gap there, as it eventually gets cut off by one of the guys in blue, Habibullah, the other direction. Habibullah has a man, he's got Sebastian Cruz. Cruz is cruising, serves in, and that one gets pushed away by David Ochoa. Corner kick for SKC, their third. Just the attempt there by Sebastian Cruz. He was rolling, and he is very familiar with this pitch. Played his college ball at Cal State Fullerton, is the 24-year-old Cruz, as he makes his way back to his home state, playing as the away side on this pitch. But the corner set to come for Sporting KC. This will be an outswinger ready to go. Headed up too high, but it's held on by Alexandre. Alexandre gives it a go. Two bodies in the way. Couldn't quite get a clean clearance. Habibullah to center. Hesitation, Gumbale! Another save for David Ochoa. Gumbale was looking for his 7th goal of the year. Couldn't quite get it to go. As Gumbale gave it a swing, he has 7, couldn't get 8. And the 23-year-old in his first MLS Next Pro season almost got the icebreaker for Sporting KC. But instead, LAFC will be tasked with defending their 4th corner of the afternoon. We're only at 23 minutes to start things off here. Hip of the air, Rendov, he got a touch. Went off of a LAFC player, so this will be a rinse and repeat for Sporting KC. Seven shot attempts already for Sporting Kansas City in 24 minutes. Another one potentially on the way with the corner. Bouncer for Alexandre. He's got Cristiano. Alexandre to center, off of a body, still up for grabs. Kept in by Rendov. Avila, cut off by Ochoa, and very, very warranted foul against Avila. The question is whether or not Ochoa is okay. He fell very hard, and they're waving on the medical staff. As we take another look at the collision, Beto Avila, he had all eyes on the ball. You could kind of see his head looking upward. He had no inkling of an idea that Ochoa was in pursuit. He just saw a ball and just chased after it. Beto Avila, second on the team in goals, wanted to get something to go there, but couldn't quite do so. Is having himself a career season pretty much in every statistical category. He's had a career high in some way, shape, or form this year. But David Ochoa, good to see him back on his feet, the 23-year-old from Oxnard, California. He makes his way up. And it's not necessarily like any other player who maybe has to succumb to these injuries. We can kind of just put him out and get him back in within the next couple of minutes. That's your goalkeeper. It definitely flies a little, not necessarily a little differently, but it has a different aura to it, that's for sure. 20 minutes to go in the half. LAFC, they've struggled to really settle things down the entire half so far, but eventually they get it through where they have an opportunity to get it on the throw. It will be taken by Charlie Rosenthal. Up in the area, settled down, but offside. This portion of the match is brought to you by CarMax. Car buying reimagined. A 4-0 victory in Vancouver is a way to go to snap a 4-game losing streak for Sporting Kansas City 2. It was a really great job at controlling the tempo of the game, not a lot of giveaways, and especially because SKC2, they know that a lot of these teams, they love to counter press and counter attack against them because they've been susceptible to miscuing plays or maybe just sending some errant passes. It's allowed other teams to be beneficiary considering how SKC have allowed the 5th most goals in the league. They want to get on the board first as they're in the attack. Cristiano to center, having to chase his Danny Flores, but he keeps it alive for Sporting KC. Into the area, cut off, still available. Gumbale, Gumbale! Maloon Gumbale! That's his 8th goal of the season. And SKC gets the party started in the 28th. Nice little feed here, Gumbale. He's been all over the box in this game. He's taken a couple of swings today, has a man on him, lets that one fly. And the tangle up with Diaz could only do so much as Gumbale got free and got it to go through for the 1-0 advantage for Sporting KC2. Gumbale, the 23-year-old from Cincinnati, Ohio, played his college ball with the Indiana Hoosiers, where he was a 3-time Big Ten champion. He's also part of that squad that made it all the way to the NCAA Finals. Gets the scoring started for SKC2. Had a chance to break through, was Kansas City again, but nothing to come of it as it allows LA to transition. Not for long, however, it was cut off. Nonetheless, LA throw-in. Free runner for LA. Having to hold on is Sullivan. Eddie Berumen. Just tries to go up as LAFC have struggled to get long strings of possession. They started controlling things a little bit earlier with the shot attempts advantage, but that has flipped the other direction with SKC now more or less firmly in control of this match. But Berumen wants to continue trying to help his team dig out of their hole as LA have the throw. Wanchope. As Rosenthal. Rosenthal back for Aguilar. He sends it across. And that one got touched by Shayway. It'll be an LA corner. But offside. That looked like it was a wide open opportunity there for Sullivan, but flag went up first. And you could see Sullivan trying to chase back onside. And if anything, that might have been the best case scenario for Shayway just try to get the ball up in the air regardless of what happens. And he knew he had the heat from Sullivan. Gumbale, the goal scorer, leaves it behind for Cristiano, who has the turnover. Flores elevates, and now an opportunity to escape goes Donovan. He goes down in a booking. First one of the afternoon goes against LAFC. That appeared to be Christian Diaz, who will get the first yellow card of the match. We saw that little bobble there by Donovan to get free, and yeah, that leg poked out there by Diaz is going to be enough for the first booking of the afternoon, as it provides a perfect opportunity for a second hydration break. Things aren't expected to settle down at any point. It's going to stay within that 101 to 104 region the entire afternoon. Slight winds coming from the southeast at about 7 miles per hour. But SKC2, they've got to be happy with how things started. They started off the scoring only about 4 minutes ago off of this opportunity. The bobble up in the air allowed Malum Gumbale. He just gets past the tangle up of Christian Diaz and just buries that one for the opening goal of this game. Gumbale's 8th of the season in match number 23 of the MLS Next Pro 2024 season. LAFC too, they have not had a great record when allowing the first goal. They've done so 11 times, and 6 of those have been losses. Sporting Kansas City too, they've had a good string of not only getting on the board early, but also hanging on when they do so. 12 times they've gone up ahead prior to today, and of those 12 results, 10 of them have resulted in points with a half a dozen wins. Sides reset after the yellow card from Christian Diaz. Will be a Sporting Kansas City ball towards the center line.
Your attention, please.
I appreciate that the in-arena crew are very much having some fun in the sun today with their respective song choice during the hydration break. But we play on as the ball's back in play. 33rd minute, SKC up on top on LAFC 1-0. Sporting Kansas City, 1 win versus Vancouver Whitecaps 2 by a score of 4-0, snapped a 4-game losing streak. LAFC 2, a loss 2-1 against Tacoma Defiance, snapped a 4-game unbeaten streak. One of those 2 goals that was led up by LA to Tacoma was on a penalty kick mid-game, but they go stretch for Nick Sullivan. Sullivan pivots, has Mueller. Mueller gallops, takes a try and almost gets it inside. Kisses the corner and out. Luis Mueller, what a way to try for the equalizer. He just skipped past, had that little half step just to open up the slightest amount of space. Had that one curving right in for the lefty for Mueller, but that one just crosses the corner. LA, not a lot of opportunities, but when they have, they've pretty much all been high danger chances. Still only 3 shot attempts to speak of to SKC's 9. Only 3 shot on target the entire match, all of them for the boys in blue. Whistle goes, another yellow card against LA. So the two center backs for Junior Gonzalez, DeCarlo Guerra and Christian Diaz, will both be booked. That's the first time in Guerra's 2 seasons in MLS Next Pro that he's been booked. Christian Diaz, that's the 6th time he's done so this year.
Your attention, please. The head referee is issuing a yellow card warning to LAFC 2. To play number 4.
Reception made by Badji Alexandre. Wanted to go for Habibullah, but it falls back for Alexandre. Habibullah. Up top for Flores. Wanted to return for Habibullah, cut off by Diaz, still alive as Flores retreats. Cristiano's pass was cut off, and LA will just dump it as that was out of Luis Mueller's reach. Beto Avila wants to strip past his defender. That looked like it was Luis Jaime who was in front. And Jaime, wearing the captain's armband, was able to get the strip and the feed off. However, it was not enough juice on it for Nick Sullivan. Right back the other direction for LAFC. And now an opportunity, Mueller. He's got green grass ahead of him. Luis Mueller is offside. That's the 3rd time LA's been offside today. As you can see, right before the release, Mueller was ahead of the final defender, Chris Rendove. This portion of the match is brought to you by DoorDash, the exclusive on-demand delivery partner of LAFC. A quick touch up ahead. Habibullah's got space. Habibullah feeds it. One at Kumbale for the brace. Too far ahead of him, and it's just an easy catch made by David Ochoa. Ochoa, he's been someone who has gone back and forth between the first team and the second team throughout the entire season. Was the backup for Hugo Lloris in the Leagues Cup throughout many portions of August and July. And that valuable experience from probably one of the better international goalkeepers of this generation. That's only going to pay dividends for Ochoa, only 23 years old, who spent last season with San Luis in Mexico. Quick pass blocked there by Mueller. Will be right back for Leo Cristiano. Gumbale, the goal scorer. Twirls past a pair. Flores has to settle and eventually weaves past for some open space. Back for Habibullah. Nice slip through there by Sebastian Cruz. He wanted to go out wide for Alexandre, but out of reach. Only Ochoa in the region. LAFC, they've really been trying to preach some of the mistakes, or rather to rectify them, from their 2-1 loss versus Tacoma, and how they especially really struggled in defensive transition because they have at point just not necessarily had those passes on point. Like right there, the transition kind of hurt them against Tacoma in finishing off and executing the offensive opportunities. We saw those there too. But box to box was something that Junior Gonzalez was very pleased with. It's just that once they got from the 20 meter mark inward to the end line was where they had their most bit of difficulty against the Defiance last week. A takedown on that near side. No card will be allotted towards SKC. Only 2 in this game have come by Christian Diaz and DeCarlo Guerra of LAFC 2. Our officiating crew, Mark Verso, our head official. In the red was CJ Cole and Conrado Garcia, our assistant referees, with Osvaldo Delgado Landeros, our 4th official. Nick Sullivan works to get past Alexandre. He just goes end to end, settles it down. Adrian Aguilar. Aguilar in front, wanted to go for Mueller. Aguilar trying to make his presence known in his first start in MLS Next Pro. And only his 4th match. But his side are back on it. Delays, holds, inside, cut off, out of play. Corner kick LA, only their 2nd of the match. Compared to Sporting Kansas City's 5. LAFC, one of 4 teams in the Western Conference with 10 or more wins. They want to tack on the 11th, but before they do that, they have to make up for their 1-goal deficit. They could do so on the in-swinger. Up for grabs, down, settle, turn around, and that one was just a touch wide, but they will go again. Nice little in-swinger there. Good initial header there by Adrian Aguilar to allow an opportunity in the first place for the Spinorama try. But nothing was able to get through off the attempt from Rosenthal. Second chance goes. Sheway out of position. Comes out of the box, but recovered by Guerra. Berriman, the 1-man back, and it's easily a catch for Ryan Sheway. But now Kansas City want to go fast on the counter-attack. They've got numbers as 3v3. Chip up ahead. Not chipped enough. Ochoa had enough height to snag that one down. LAFC, now they're going fast. Nick Sullivan, he's got to work on Cristiano. Cristiano and Sullivan. Sullivan, inside header, just wide. Luis Mueller has been all over the net. So many chances, not a single berry. Nice attempt there by Sullivan to just find Mueller all alone. Got it high enough above Rendov where he couldn't get the attempt. And enough dip on it for Mueller to make a connection, but nothing to follow. That is Luis Mueller's 2nd shot attempt of the afternoon, and nothing to come of it so far. As we approach the final 80 seconds towards the regulation 45, whistle the other direction for LA. LAFC had 6 of their potential roster players over in Houston with the A squad. With Kansas City, it's primarily just Alinas Vargas, but he's been there the whole time, more or less. Quick tangle up will now be the first yellow card against Sporting Kansas City on the takedown. They'll have to defend an LA set piece just outside of the penalty box. We take another look at the opportunity, a quick chip up ahead. And that was Christensen, who was just essentially a wall. As that appears to be Aguilar, who's still a little slow.
The head referees issued a yellow card warning to Sporting Kansas City 2. Player number 89, Leo Cristiano. The time of the yellow card warning in the 45th minute of play.
So Cristiano right at the 45th. is the yellow card for Sporting, and now Luis Mueller about 19 yards out. Mueller took a deflection, goes out of play. Is it a throw or is it a corner? It will be a LAFC corner. They'll have an extra half a dozen minutes to work with. Mueller ready for an in-swinger. Returns. Luis Mueller sends it in. Bobbled around. Controlled back for Guerra. LAFC still have possession deep in the KCN. They took their possession from about 33% to north of 40. In front, the volley's in front. Shayway with the save. Follow-up is wide. But still an opportunity for LAFC. They'll have corner number 4. That little volley up in front. Nice swing there. That appears to be Aguilar. Was looking for his first goal but couldn't get it to go. And this is the 4th corner for LAFC. Back post too far. Sullivan has to chase. Last took a nick off of the body of Sebastian Cruz, so that will be the 5th for LAFC 2. They had pretty much won the entire way through, but have gotten 3 corner kicks in the past 6 or 7 minutes or so. But the aggressive foul on the offensive end will be a stoppage in favor of the visitors. Aguilar wanted Sullivan. Was interrupted. That went off of the official. But it fell right back for Sporting Kansas City anyway, so they'll play on. Eighth goal of the season from Malum Gumbale in the 28th minute of play. Turnover. Adrian Aguilar in the elevation, too far for Nick Sullivan. We burned off just shy of 3 minutes of the extra 6. LAFC 2, SKC 2, MLS Next Pro is in Fullerton at Titan Stadium. Quick chip, Alexandre back to center. Second chance attempted there, but Ochoa with the save. Denies Gumbale of 2. But still available for Flores as Kansas City want to try to produce a second goal before the expiration of the first half. Habibullah. And the rest of his SKC teammates will settle things down as they look for options. Nothing available straight for Ochoa. Foul. Stoppage goes. It'll be back in the SKC half of things, but the nice little attempt there for Gumbale. He wanted 2. That save made by David Ochoa prevented anything from continuing on the score sheet. Stops the bleeding a little bit, especially with the possession and shooting numbers and overall team numbers largely in favor of the visiting Sporting Kansas City 2. But Kansas City are back on it with the Buffalo, New York native Leo Cristiano. Long ball attempted. One-on-one is Sebastian Cruz. Ochoa retreats. Cruz waits for numbers. Habibullah wanted the drive. However, his aim was just a touch off. Ochoa just dumps that one away. Not exactly on the right page with Nick Sullivan, so SKC are right back on it with a throw in the final minute of the first half stoppage. SKC, they really have two trains of thought: extend the lead or be content with what they have. The way they're passing it, it looks to me personally, they might just be content with taking this 1-0 advantage to the locker room. But a bounce off the header allows Gumbale to go free. Gumbale wanted to try, clips a leg. LAFC will have to defend as Sporting Kansas City have their 6th corner kick of the half. We are beyond the 6 minutes of stoppage time. Trying to be careful, there's technically 2 balls on the pitch right now, but that one got shoved aside, so now we play on. Outswinger, low ball, rebound! Oh, what a save by Ochoa! And that will be it for the first half. A flair for the dramatic at the finish as we take a second look. Settled down, Rendov with the swing, and Ochoa with the swat away. That'll do it for us in the first 45 minutes of play. It is 1 for Sporting Kansas City. LAFC yet to get on the board. It's 1-1 apiece. We'll have highlights, first half stats, and Michelle Montaigne sits down with Chattanooga's Rod Underwood.
Vamos, dale pues, mamá ya, muévete más loco, como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, 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 mira, sacúdete. Listen up, all eyes on me, I'll show you who you wanna be. Yeah, yeah, hey. Oh, wow, wow, wow. It's going down, down. You don't want to miss that. It's the new sound. It's the new sound. It's the new sound. Toda mi gente lo siente. 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 Toda mi gente caliente. Toda mi gente lo siente. Toda mi gente suena. En la favela suena. El techo se me llena. Toda mi gente lo siente.
We return here at Titan Stadium at Cal State Fullerton in Fullerton, California. Sporting Kansas City 2 have the advantage over LAFC 2, 1-0. And we have an opportunity to meet with Chattanooga head coach Rod Underwood. We want to tell you more about what's been coming up in the MLS Next Pro newsletter. Sign up today.
Action! Welcome into another edition of Coach's Corner. Today we are sitting down with Rod Underwood, the head coach of Chattanooga FC. Coach, thanks for making the time for us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
With this being your first year in MLS NEXT Pro, over halfway through the season, what has just been your overall impression of the league so far?
I think there's been a lot of impressions. So if we break it down in multiple facets, off the field, I think facilities for the most part have been really very good. How we're treated in the away games are really very good. At home, off the field is obviously fantastic for us. The crowd is unbelievable at home. The traveling crowd for us is fantastic. And then on the field, right, the competition's been really high. And we continue to get better and grow and learn and make sure we give ourselves the best chance to be competitive in every game.
You just touched on it, but being one of just two independent clubs, what has this supporters club meant to you guys your first year in MLS NEXT Pro?
Well, it means so much. Without them, it's very difficult for our club to even exist. So the supporters are fantastic. On the road, they give us great energy. At home, they give us great energy. And we just really feed off of it. And we really want to make sure that we repay them for all the support they've had beyond the years that I've even been here.
You've gotten off to a pretty good start with that this season. What has allowed you guys to come in and find success early?
Yeah, I think it's just, a focus and a desire really to perform at the highest level that we can. One of the things that we talk about all the time is just being a little bit better, being 1% better every day and really working hard and really just focusing on us and trying to make sure that we do a really good job of accentuating each individual player's talents within the structure that we want to be successful in.
Now that we are getting into the latter stages of the regular season, knowing that the table is kind of making its way, what would you describe the mood and the day-to-day like between the players in the locker room?
Yeah, for us, it's two things, right? It's excitement, the opportunity to be playing, right? At the end of the day, a lot of us get to do a lot of different things than showing up every day to train and coach and enjoy the city and enjoy the fans. That's a great honor to even be able to do that. So there's joy, there's excitement, but there's also business like that. Hey, the table's tight. We know that every game matters. We know that every point matters. So we're keeping that joy and excitement and focus and workman's-like mentality.
So with all that in mind, what does success look like for you this season?
Success is many things, right? Success is how do we do on the field? How do we do off the field? How do we do with our players coming in and being successful? And how do we do with the support of the fans and making the city grow and really just bringing new fans, bringing new supporters, and really going as far as we can in the league.
All right, last one for you. Coach, what has made you the most proud of this team so far this year?
I think there's two things. I think number one, the fans, the support, the city, the ability that we can come out every day, express ourselves, and express the way that we want to play football. But also, I would say, just the relentlessness of the individual players to come out and really perform every day in training and really look to be better in every game.
Awesome. Well, I can say from that very first game in Chattanooga to now, you guys have been so much fun to watch. Your supporters have meant so much to the league. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon again in person.
All right, thank you for having me.
Toda mi gente lo siente, 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 toda mi gente caliente, toda mi gente lo siente. sacúdete. Vamos, dale pues, vamos allá, muévete. Muévelo como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza. Sacúdete, 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 mira, sacúdete.
Action.
We return here to Cal State Fullerton, where we are at a 1-0 scoreline between Sporting KC and LAFC. There's been a lot of action here in today's game, but we mentioned there's 5 games left to go in the regular season to play. When there's 4 games left, there's going to be a myriad of things yet to come, starting on Wednesday with that trio of games with NYC and Philly, North Texas, amongst a couple of teams who are very much in the hunt for the regular season title overall. If you're Sporting Kansas City, you want to keep out for the Friday set of games with Austin and Houston within the mix. Tacoma's a huge look for LAFC, and LAFC will have not necessarily the same full week. They do have to go on the road on Saturday to Portland, just north of the West Coast, for an opportunity to either prevent Timbers 2 from getting into the playoff race, but also potentially getting themselves into that home playoff seed with the results of Tacoma the day before pending. And for SKC2, look at Timbers on Saturday with Austin and Houston. All 3 of those opponents on the weekend will be a huge look ahead for Sporting Kansas City, and that's all prior to Sporting Kansas City's game next week against Colorado Rapids. More from MLS Next Pro and this 1-0 match when we return.
Vamos, dale pues, vamos allá, muévete. Muévelo como solo tú lo sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza. Sacúdete, 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 mira, sacúdete.
Listen up, all eyes on me. I'll show you who you wanna be. Yeah, yeah, hey. Oh, wow, wow, wow. It's going down, down. You don't want them this day. It's the new sound. It's the new sound. It's the new sound.
Toda mi gente lo siente. 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 Toda mi gente caliente. Toda mi gente lo siente. Toda mi gente suena. En la favela suena. El techo se me llena. Toda mi gente lo siente.
Action.
Back here for the final time before the second half. Kick at Titan Stadium in Fullerton, California. 1-0 between Sporting Kansas City 2 and LAFC 2. How do we get here? Well, let's take a look at our first half highlights from the first 45 minutes of play. It's a scalding 103-degree day, but that doesn't mean that the play has cooled off. Opportunities for both sides as this first one tried to wiggle through for Luis Mueller, who was all over the pitch today. Got that first opportunity off of the bar, tried to go for the follow-up. The second chance was attempted there, but that one was wide from Matthias Wanchope. And then eventually the long-distance try there was attempted there by Leo Cristiano. But not before things would continue on for Sporting Kansas City 2. Habibullah gave an attempt, but he was blocked off. And then another wide-angle opportunity for Sebastian Cruz, no one able to convert. The chaos inside of the box allowed Gumbale to get a touch on, but it was this bobble right here. Gumbale fights off the defender Diaz to bury the opening goal of this match. It's Malum Gumbale's 8th goal of the season, but that's not before Luis Mueller would try to equalize, but not before it kisses the crossbar and out. And then Nick Sullivan tried to go for Mueller, who had the header. Once again, Mueller swarming the net, nothing to finish. As Mueller and Aguilar met right at that back post, Aguilar couldn't get the finish, and then Gumbale wanted two, but the hand of Ochoa had something to say about that, and this was the final action before the first half whistle. Chris Rendove at the top of the area. We talked about some of the discrepancy in the possession and shot attempts numbers, and it really shows here that Sporting Kansas City, in essence, they're not only controlling things in the offensive side of things, they're controlling things defensively as well. Those 5 block shots are a large part of the reason why Ryan Shaway has not really been tested so far, but they've been putting a lot of the pressure on that back four of LAFC, where LAFC's 2 center backs are both on yellow cards, and David Ochoa has had to make more saves than he's needed to. 5 for 6 so far in the first half of the shots on target. And if LAFC want to get back into this with a potential for a home playoff game, they're going to have to flip this script in half number 2. We're about to start the second half kickoff as LAFC and the All Blacks, they will take the second half going from right to left. SKC left to right in the all light blues. Ryan Lee and our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, we thank you very much for joining us here on this Sunday afternoon of soccer. Sporting Kansas City 1, LAFC 0. Match number 24 of 28. 5 games remain in the regular season. After today, there will only be 4. LAFC going into today, they were the 5th slot in the Western Conference. They want to bump Tacoma out of that 4th slot, or maybe even get back for Ventura County to get into 3rd with a chance at a home playoff game. SKC2, they have Portland and Houston Dynamo a point ahead for a chance to even get in the picture, but Habibullah centers for his side, not before he gets stripped away. That one goes out of play. 1 substitution at the half. It was David Soto for Christian Diaz. Diaz was working on a yellow card, so they wanted to wipe that away with the entrance of the 16-year-old David Soto. And a stoppage on that near sideline once more, which has caused a multitude of problems for both sides. In large part because they've both been very physical in their style of play. And that could arguably be a good thing or a bad thing. It causes a lot of fouls, but that is something that is going to be seen once we get towards the playoffs. But first, LAFC have to get back into this game with a potential equalizer. They've got Moyano and Mueller. It's Mueller. Headed away, second chance goes, deflected and scores! LAFC have equalized, and it's a 1-1 game. Matthias Wanchope, his first goal in Next Pro. What a set piece, the block just takes a double deflection up top, and Wanchope just let that one drive low took a deflection along the way. But what a way for the 17-year-old for Costa Rica to get involved in the play, get his first goal in Next Pro in his 10th appearance. A member of the Costa Rican U20 side. And we have a brand new game at 1-a-side.
Player number 60, Matias Chopin.
So we're now at a brand new game at 1-a-side, and Rosenthal wiggles past to drop it behind for Chris Jaime. Jaime takes his man down aggressively, offensive foul on LA. That was only the second shot on net for LAFC2. And you can make the argument that might not technically qualify as a shot on net because it took some deflections, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. It counts the same regardless. LAFC have to retreat because SKC are on the attack. The feed up top, Habibullah settles and couldn't get the swing. 5 minutes into the second half and the heat has been turned up. And not just by Mother Nature either. A couple of fouls already. A goal to start things off. Opportunities at both ends of the pitch. Gumbale gets free for Cruz. Cruz. Alexandre for Habibullah. Leaves it up top. Juan and Gumbale. Eventually LA clears. And now a chance for Cruz to cross, headed down and just wide of the net. A nice thought. The back post was wide open for Cruz. He had his man beat. That one got headed down, but just across a little too much. And Ochoa can breathe easy because he was not in the position to make that save had that been at the wrong spot. Takedown at center, LA set piece. So Matias Wanchope with the goal with the assist from Adrian Aguilar. That's Aguilar's second assist of the season in only 4 appearances. This is something that LA want to get going, especially because they have been able to stir up some points with some early deficits. They've done so 5 times after being scored on first 11 times on the season. But they'll have to defend once more. Cristiano just missed the net. Not something you see very much from a center back, but Leo Cristiano steps into the play, leans into that follow through, and that one just clips the outside of the net. A turnaround chance for LAFC, and now a lane for Nick Sullivan. Flag stays down. Sullivan awaits. Up top, Mueller holds, shoots, is just wide again. Chris Mueller, that's his 4th attempt at net today. All of them have been wide. Ryan Shayway has not needed to make a save on Mueller because none of those shots have been in the vicinity of the frame. Only two rather, have hit the posts. And a potential put in here for LA due to a clearance that went straight for the sideline off the foot of Shayway. LA's captain, Chris Jaime. He's got a man, Charlie Rosenthal. Rosenthal to center, clipped out by Kansas City. Another stoppage and possession for LAFC. Served in, sent out, recovered by the substitute David Soto. Served into the area, headed just wide. Mueller and Sullivan have swarmed the net all afternoon, but we're still level at 1 when it's all said and done. The possession has just ever so slightly leaned a touch more in LA's favor. It was closer to 2/3, 1/3 in favor of Kansas City, but now it's reverted just ever so slightly closer to 60-40 Kansas City's way still. Talked about some of the strings of results that LAFC have been able to pull together, including the 4-game unbeaten streak that got snapped after their loss to Tacoma. And a lot of that has to do with their culture of having a winning mentality, the positivity surrounding the entire LA organization. And that might have to continue with some of the substitutions who will be coming on. MLS Next Pro debut for David Zambrano. As Zambrano's only 16 years old from the LAFC Academy. He will take a spot of Brian Moyato, who has been pretty much the set piece specialist the whole way through.
Substitutions for LAFC.
Then you have Dempsey Resic, who is making his way in as well. A quick slide there by Ian James to cut off Rosenthal from pursuing any further, but it will be a corner for LAFC at the end of the day. Dempsey Resic will replace the goal scorer Matthias Wanchope. 16 years old, a Croatian-American product for Dempsey Resic, the substitute. LAFC will have a corner opportunity. This will be number 6, first of the half. In-swinger. 50-50 ball goes towards that far corner with Resic getting the last touch. Another chance, chip up and scores! Dempsey Resic, his second game, his first goal, and gets on the scoreboard after getting subbed in. What a set piece attempt here by LAFC. You had two guys diving for it with the support in the back. But at the end of the day, that is going to be poked home by Nick Sullivan. Resic was in the area, but Sullivan is going to claim it. It's Sullivan's third of the MLS Next Pro season. In his first season, he's got 3 goals in 10 matches for Sullivan. Resic was in the pile as well. It looked like Resic touched it first, but it last went off of Sullivan, who claims it. And it's now 2-1 LAFC, only a dozen minutes out of the half. Habibullah wants to sweep it around to change Kansas City's fortunes. Alexandre tries to go for goal, but it goes off of a body from Eddie Berriman, so it will be the first corner of the second half for Kansas City. Low ball, deflected, makes its way straight for Ochoa. Not a lot going on there in that corner, unlike the last one for LAFC2. And that one just goes goalie for goalie, Ochoa for Sheway. A lot of now, after the double substitution made by LAFC, could we potentially see a counter in play for Sporting Kansas City 2? The pass was cut off, so Rosenthal is in a foot race, but not before Ian James is there first. And quick stoppage on the offensive foul. Ochoa will easily hold on to that to stall things for a little bit. So Carson Klein and Jonathan Robinson are getting ready by the fourth official, Osvaldo Delgado. But Ochoa will settle things down as he just sends this one away. Already a trio of substitutions by LAFC, including two just a couple of minutes ago. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ford. LAFC in transition. Charlie Rosenthal has options. Didn't have Sullivan because he was offside. Tried to cut it inside for Resic, but it was cut off by Kansas City, who just created a little breathing room for themselves. And that one goes right towards the near sideline for an LAFC throw. This could be where Benny Failhaber might make his substitutions, and it will, along with the hydration break. So as we get through the substitutions, we have Jonathan Robinson, the 23-year-old who played his college ball at Western Michigan. He's in his first season pro after being drafted by Sporting Kansas City in the third round of the 2024 MLS draft. He will come in to replace Ian James, who has been the starting wingback the entire way through. And then we also have Carson Klein, who will enter. He has many Southern California connections, coming from Corona Del Mar, playing with LA Galaxy 2 and MLS Next Pro last year, playing at Cal Poly. Corona Del Mar, his hometown, for those maybe not familiar with the Southern California region, is only about a half an hour from Fullerton, barring any sort of traffic. He replaces Maggi Andrade. So a couple of replacements on the wingbacks for SKC2, in part because LAFC2, they packed on a pair of goals since the start of the second half. But we have to go back to the first half to see how things started, as all 3 goals have come from that left side net. Back in the 28th minute from Maloon Goombale. He got his 8th goal of the season, and then off of the set piece, took a bounce, and then the follow through was converted from Matthias Wanchope. That was Wanchope's first goal of his MLS Next Pro tenure. It's the first time that Ryan Shayway got beat today. And then all the way around it goes off a corner kick. A trio of bodies up in front. But the tap in was made by Nick Sullivan, who was a product of Cal State San Bernardino. He was a California Collegiate Athletic Association honorable mention in terms of the all-conference team for Sullivan in his college days. Sullivan's goal assisted by Eddie Berumen and Adrian Aguilar, credited with the helper on Matthias Wanchope's first LAFC goal. Which is how we got here to 2-1 in the first place. Now a chance here for LAFC 2, a tangle down. And they're actually going to say it was offside, so it will be a yellow card as well after all of that. The argument being made by David Zambrino was that he was taken down, but the yellow card at the very end after the offside. Let's take a quick look here. So there was the yellow card. He didn't really take that much contact. So what they're trying to say, it appears to be that might be a yellow card for simulation, because he didn't really take that much contact and went down a little easy. As Zambrano didn't really initiate contact, but
attention, please. The head referees issued a yellow card warning to LAFC 2. Player number 48, Kevin Zambrano. The time of the yellow card warning in the 65th minute.
that's a 64th minute yellow for LAFC 2. That puts them at 3 on the afternoon. So Benny Feilhaber has made a pair of substitutions, while Junior Gonzalez has made a trio of them. And some of the substitutes have been making big plays already here in this second half of play on this roasting 103-degree day in Fullerton, California. A recent heat wave over in South California. Disruption there by LAFC defensively. But a turnover comes already. A try from distance, but unable to hit the frame. As David Ochoa just watches that one sail above him. Contact at the center circle goes LAFC's way. We are only at the 67th minute mark, and we already have a total of 31 shots attempted. However, the conversion percentage not very great, as there's been a total of 10 of those on target. 7-3 in favor of SKC2, but a tough statistical day for Ryan Shayway, only stopping one of those 3 shots on net. He might have to hold on to another one as the clip up goes for Charlie Rosenthal. Takes a body off the sideline. That was Carson Klein who goes out. Klein, a late addition, played his first match with this SKC2 side in mid-July, after spending the last 2 seasons with LA Galaxy 2. As LAFC 2 are actually chasing the now rebranded Ventura County FC for that 3rd playoff spot and a potential opportunity at a home playoff game. for LAFC. Took a partial deflection. Habibullah looks to escape, but cannot do so. Recovered by LA. It's just swept aside. Baruman gets the return feed. Habibullah gets the reception off the deflection. Quick attempt for Sebastian Cruz, but they pulled out from the defender that appeared to be Chris Jaime. Will produce a Kansas City throw. Jaime was looking for, I believe that was Mueller, Sullivan rather. It's chipped up for Gumbale. Gumbale to the area, wanted Avila, but the pass was off target. Charlie Rosenthal wants to ignite something new with Chris Jaime. Bobbler stays in SKC's possession. They'll take advantage with the man down for LA at mid-pitch. Alexandre wanted to walk the tightrope at the end line, but it hits the back wall. It's going to be a Sporting Kansas City corner when they resume play. But there were two players down, one at center pitch and one inside of the LAFC penalty area. The assistance has been called upon. It's a little hard to see who that is, but a nice opportunity for everyone on the pitch to get this stoppage in play, a pseudo hydro break, if you will. But everyone in the box getting ready to not only deal with this blistering heat that Mother Nature's provided, but also the upcoming corner kick that's going to be provided to Sporting Kansas City. That's Eddie Baruman, who's being tended to right at the byline where the officiating crew is. Eddie Baruman, he was credited with the assist on the Nick Sullivan goal, the 23-year-old from Modesto, California. Played his college soccer over at UC Irvine, where he has been around not only California, but this entire southwest portion of the U.S. for pretty much his entire soccer career. Started things off professionally with the Las Vegas Lights this season, was a part of the Sacramento Republic Academy program, and he joined on with LAFC back in June. Made his 7th start after getting an assist versus Vancouver a couple of weeks ago. As always, good to see the players are up on their own power. They seem to be doing quite well, but maybe not so much because they have to defend the second corner of the second half that's being allotted to Kansas City. In-swinger, up in the air, headed and snagged. Carson Klein was on the receiving end, but as were the hands of David Ochoa. This portion of the match is brought to you by Kaiser Permanente. Habibullah has it for SKC, makes its way for Sebastian Cruz. Cruz is someone who Benny Feilhaber has really loved to see develop. As this offensive opportunity develops, makes its way back for Sebastian Cruz. Makes its way around for Alexandre. And he gets cut off right before it could cut back inside, so Leo Cristiano will have to come back. Habibullah. He has the most shots attempted in the entirety of MLS Next Pro, has taken his swings today. Stuck in the area, right at the 6. LA eventually clears. Habibullah. Back into the penalty area. Gumbale could not get free, but still alive for Kansas City. Shane Donovan sends it all the way back for Christopher Rendov, pardon. Danny Flores taken down, and that will hold things up. LAFC, you saw the hands on head, you heard the reaction. Not big fans of that one. As you can see, the little contact there behind the back of Danny Flores off the leg of Chris Jaime. As we have two substitutions ready to go. Ethan Bryant and Cello to Santret to replace Danny Flores and Shane Donovan. Benny Feilhaber want to, in essence, overhaul their midfielder core with Cameron Habibullah in the mix as well. Ethan Bryant makes his 49th appearance in MLS Next Pro, has spent both of those seasons with Sporting Kansas City 2. He's really been called on to come off the bench numerous times ever since coming over from the Richmond Kickers of USL League One, where he was the League One Young Player of the Year. And Cello to Santret, 20 appearances in 2024. Drive goes, Habibullah! Great save by Ochoa! And corner number 10, pardon, for Sporting Kansas City. A beautiful drive there by Habibullah. He had all the power and the leg, but Ochoa had all the reflexes and the reach. Now a chance for corner 10 for Kansas City. In-swinger. Up and nothing. LAFC player down behind the play inside of the 6-yard box. They're going to use this opportunity to not only get the proper attendance of the player down, but also they'll use this opportunity to get the hydration break as well while they're at it. It is 2-1 for LAFC over Sporting Kansas City 2. Bali started things off in the 28th, and then back-to-back goals coming right out of halftime with Juan Schopp with the assist from Aguilar and Berriman setting up Sullivan. That's how we got to this point. LAFC 2. They lost to Tacoma, snapped a 4-game losing streak. They sit at 5th in the Western Conference going into today. They're chasing the likes of Ventura County FC and Tacoma Defiance in order to get to the top 4 so they can get a home playoff game. Sporting Kansas City 2 into today. They were 10th in the Western Conference, but they only are a single point away from Houston Dynamo, who's set at 32 points to Kansas City's 31. If Kansas City can somehow salvage at least a point, they'll be able to put themselves in good standing before they have an opportunity to play a team who, when the night's over, might be eliminated in Colorado Rapids 2 part of a 3-game road trip for Sporting Kansas City. They were in Vancouver last week with a dominant 4-0 win. They're in Fullerton today just to go to the Rockies in about a week from now. And then for LAFC 2, assuming that they can get into that top 4 slot to get their home playoff match, they have a couple of teams who are a little bit desperate on the docket for LAFC 2, with a trip to Portland to play the Timbers, and they also have a visit from Real Monarchs, who are 3rd to last in the Western Conference, and not before having to go back-to-back road trips up north to Town FC, who are currently tied with Tacoma and LAFC. Town amongst that 4-team chunk with Ventura County, Tacoma, LAFC, and Town FC, who are all fighting for those 2 home playoff slots. They're separated between 3rd and 6th, and then they close out the regular season with each other on October 6th in the regular season finale. Up ahead goes David Zambrano, tries to go across. Sullivan, he got his angle cut off by Carson Klein, just attempted to let that one fly, but instead it'll go for a Shea goal kick. Zambrano, nice feed there from Zambrano to Sullivan. It's just that Carson Klein read that all the way through to get in position to make Sullivan's journey a little awkward. But Javi Pula got that one stripped away from Zambrano, as Mueller forces the touch out of play. LAFC 2, they've been excellent when they're here in Fullerton, 7-3-2 at their home venue. And SKC 2, not necessarily big fans of the road. 6 of their 12 games on the road have resulted in a loss. Quick clip up attempted there by Chris Luis Jaime. Recovers it back, and not before it got swept by Chris Rendov out of play. Captain v captain on that near side. As we're in the final 10 minutes to go. LAFC could potentially attempt to pack it on, as they have not scored 3+ goals since the 20th of July. That was a 4-4 contest with Tacoma. Beto Avila might have something to say about that, as him and the rest of his squad are looking for the second. Nothing to make of it there as Guerra retreats. Opportunity for LAFC, they've got space. This is Mueller, wide angle, chips it up and over. Huge collision there from Mueller and Shea, but a nice opportunity for Jaime. He found Mueller all by himself, wanted to go for the chip shot after slipping by. I believe that's Cristiano. And the subs are coming for both sides, as Bajung Darboe will take the place of Charlie Rosenthal. Darboe, he's in his 13th match of 2024 after playing only a single match in 2023. And for Sporting Kansas City, Johan Ortiz will replace Cameron Halvibula. Ortiz, 17 years old, from Springdale, Arkansas. He got an assist versus Vancouver in their last fixture, but makes his way for his 10th appearance in 2024. Shea to send the goal kick. And that is already the first whistle against Bajung Darboe only seconds after he enters the match. Slipping pass, but couldn't escape, was to Santret. LAFC on the other direction. Darboe slips it through, wants Sullivan, but he gets cut off by Klein. Couldn't escape. Jaime keeps it in. Resic for Darboe, too high on the cross. This portion of the match is brought to you by Remitly, the official global money transfer partner of LAFC. LAFC continuing the counterattack, unable to escape their own end, as every time they try to send that one deep, Kansas City, they are just meeting nothing in blue. Everything that they attempt to chip up has been hitting a black jersey. They say don't wear black in the scalding heat, but right now LAFC are the ones who caught fire to start the second half, which is why they're up 2-1. Kansas City want to retaliate with Jonathan Robinson. Robinson overshot Avila. Still alive for Sebastian Cruz, takedown anyways. And Kansas City might have potentially wanted that one to just play on, but it will be a free kick for Kansas City. This might be one of their only great opportunities to do so with 5 minutes remaining in regulation. It was a 50-50 ball, and there was some contact made on Cello to Santret. Might have been just not allowing him to a nice platform to cushion himself on, but regardless. 5 minutes to go in regulation. Set piece for SKC. They're down by 1. Drive goes, and that one is held off for David Ochoa. Nine of the 10 substitutions have been made. Junior Gonzalez does have one more available if he wants it. He's used 4. Benny Fehlhaber has used all 5. Whenever we talk about anyone from MLS Next Pro, they always talk about trying to develop these players and make them first team caliber and just trying to get them along to continuously develop and improve their game. But when we had the opportunity to speak to Junior Gonzalez about some of the guys on his squad, he just talked about how they are very much a goal-oriented squad at the end of the day, and they approach it as if it is the MLS season, understanding that winning is a big part of development, and everything they do has consequences attached to it, including the little things, making sure they get the details right, making sure that they prepare properly in practice on the pitch. And he gave a poster level quote in our 1v1 with Junior Gonzalez that hard preparation equals separation, and they look to continue doing that with the bottom of the playoff line, where they are about 7 clear going into today. But they might potentially increase that lead. Like their lead today, they wanted to go for it with a feed to Mueller, but it was off target. Had he had that one hit, we'd be looking potential danger opportunity for LAFC's third. But the struggle for clearance for Kansas City provides that opportunity anyways with Darboe. Mueller wanted Jaime. Sullivan on a chase. Kansas City chasing the scoreboard, 2-1 for LAFC. Robinson slips, Avila, Ortiz. Cruz has nothing but space in front of him. Sporting Kansas City couldn't quite get anything to bury. Back at the center circle, trying to find an open lane. Slips it wide, fed towards the center. Not enough for Ortiz. And Darbo gets it clear for a little while. Only about 90 seconds in the regulation 90. Fed in the center, contact at the top of the box. No whistle called. Stopped by Rendov. To Santret. Back and forth. No one has given it a go. Cruz lets it slip by him, but not before it gets cut off by LAFC. Jaime wanted the return feed, but Sullivan gets the bank pass to himself. He's got one man on the near side. Jaime with Shayway comes out of net to collect.
You got space! Let's go, Sporting!
Final minute of the regulation 90. Carson Klein carries it past the halfway line. Ortiz recovers. Held on Ethan Bryant. Cruz to serve. Too much from Gumbale. Trickles out of play, throw in Kansas City. And with the heat, the humidity, we might not necessarily be talking about any injuries. We might be talking about cramping, especially with the numerous players going down in the scalding conditions.
The fourth officials indicated a minimum of 7
As we have 7 minutes worth of stoppage time to go.
The time will be added to the end of the second half.
Everyone's back is against the wall in the final 5, soon to be 4 games of the regular season. The teams who are in the playoff hunt need to stay there or maybe improve their standing so they can get a lower ranked opponent or home pitch advantage in the case of LAFC 2. It's the reason why their backs are against the wall, and for Sporting Kansas City, they're on the outside looking in. And if they cannot tie, that might continue. LAFC do have one more substitution available if they want it. As you can see, the player there a little slow to get up. That's Eddie Baruman, who is once again dinged up, and this time he is walking very gingerly to the end line. And with a throw-in coming towards that far corner flag for the LAFC 2 side of the pitch. Could potentially spell some danger. Javier Hernandez will replace the injured Eddie Baruman, who has been getting dinged up the last couple of minutes. So that's the last sub for Junior Gonzalez. That's all 10 used.
Stoppage time in the second half. Leaving the match in the bucket, player number 73, Eddie Baruman. Now entering the match, player number 49, Javier.
Turnover for LAFC, but can't get clear. Two minutes completed of 7 in stoppage. They might go a little further just because of that little injury for Eddie Baruman. No one able to get that possession cleanly, so it comes out of play. Kansas City will throw it back in with Klein. Ethan Bryant. Settle down there. Clip back inside. Bobbles around it goes. Bryant looking to open up some space. Wants the back post. Klein couldn't get it as it was gently headed for Ochoa. At the center circle, Kansas City walk away with it. But can they continue advancing upward? Towards the center box, takes a touch, and Avila just got it wide, but it clips the defender who was guarding him. I believe that is DeCarlo Guerra, and it is a corner for Kansas City. It's their 4th of the half, their 10th of the match. We take another look as the attempt was clipped just barely by Beto Avila. And the in-swinger comes from Bryant. They got to retry because of some of the kerfuffles right around the 6. Beto Avila tried to get that last pass on. He has more matches played and goals than in the last 2 years combined. Wants to get another one to equalize for SKC on the corner. Back post, headed on, it's still up for grabs. No one able to claim it. SKC still keep it alive. Sebastian Cruz. Cruz in the area, scramble in front, sent off by LA. We're in the 90+5 of 7. More might be added due to the injury substitution for Eddie Burman. A chance to tightrope the line. Klein. And just off target the pass for Cello to Santret. It's a goal kick for Ochoa. Miscues by SKC have been one of their Achilles heels. And it's actually something that they said that worked for them to get that huge win in Vancouver, was not turning the ball over. But now they're turning the ball over again, and that's why they're down by 1, amongst many other things. Ochoa booms this beyond the halfway line. And LA want to work the final 90 seconds or so of the extended stoppage time. And there's a player down on that far sideline near the center circle. That is Mueller, who's been dinged up numerous times as well today. Who actually just came back from an injury recently. He's been reintegrating himself in the last couple of matches, but gets up on his own power. Probably for LAFC eating some clock as well. KC, probably the final push in the final minute. That was a push from Sullivan. Rendov. Klein. Gets the return, but too much juice on the return feed. And plays like that are exactly what I meant when I said that the miscues accumulating for Sporting Kansas City is one of the big reasons why they're down. And the trend continues. Now a chance for Mueller to potentially lay the hammer down. Mueller with a turnover. He's got one man in the area. Mueller dances around one. Back towards the net, and it's just wide from Zambrano. Shayway has to be quick to grab the spare ball. As we take a little look here, Mueller got past his man. That was Cristiano. Tried to reset back in position. And it was just a nice dump there for Zambrano, who got it off. We're beyond 7 minutes. How much longer is there? Strip away from Javier Hernandez. Darbo. A chance for Sullivan, and that'll just about do it. It's offside, but the seconds continue to eat away for Sporting Kansas City 2. Shayway sends it. It's going back and forth. Kansas City can't contain, and that's going to do it. LAFC 2 from down 1 to up 1 advance into the standings as we take a look at our man of the match for this game. It is none other than Nicholas Sullivan, who scored the game-winning goal in the 57th minute off of the header on the feed from Eddie Berumen. It's Sullivan's third goal of the season in his first MLS Next Pro season. He's been all over the pitch in today's match, and he has spelled nothing but danger for LAFC the entire way through. That'll do it from us here in Fullerton. LAFC 2 hold on at home. 2-1 the final score over Sporting KC 2. For all of us and our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Ryan Lee. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.